I'm back. Slowly losing my voice. And yeah, I still have the same Coke from yesterday. So now it's going to be a big test of like, did you did you see me yesterday? Did I drink this Coke yesterday? Am I drinking a new water? I'm not going to test you guys. It's fine. It's okay. Here I am. Listen, last day uh update. Kind of last missive here from reInvent. We got to experience a huge day 3. I'm just going to go ahead and rename it. Sorry, AWS. Sorry, Julia White, who as AWS's CMO has taken on the massive task of really delivering such a salient message that resonates with a massive room of, you know, thousands and thousands of people. And she's done a great job. But apologies, Julia. I'm renaming yesterday, just renaming it AI Day. And I know that every day is kind of AI Day around here. Heck, it's 2025. We can't escape a room without hearing those letters. But yesterday really was. And it was AI Day in a meaningful way for me, at least. So it's my video. I'm rambling to you from my hotel room. I'm just going to talk about, well, me. So here's what stood out. There are key differences in what we want to build and what we build for the moment and what we build to stand the test of time. AI, for a lot of us, feels like we're trying to build a solid foundation for something, whether it's for our organizations or for our customers, but we kind of feel like we're building it on quicksand because every single day something happens, every single day something moves around. It feels like the floor is shifting underneath us as well. And that can be really disconcerting. And I've heard that from a whole lot of people just walking the halls. And when you get trapped in elevators and escalators, you kind of hear a lot of stuff. And I think the reality is that everyone's trying. Everyone's trying to find their footing. And what we heard, whether it is from what I think just lovingly gets renamed the Swami keynote, to what we heard from Colleen, who is the head of applied AI uh, solutions here at AWS. I love that name, by the way, Applied AI Solutions. It's actually very meaningful. I think what we hear is that AI is hard. It's hard. Navigating up until this point has probably been even harder than any of us want to admit. We have leapt into the abyss. We have jumped down every trough of whatever firm wants to call it. And we keep coming out of it more excited, more enthused, and wanting to hear more. I think that's what we got from AWS yesterday. Lots of new announcements, especially things from Agent Core to Bedrock and Strands. Every single announcement. And I could sit here and run down the news. You know, I love doing it. But the piece of paper that I would have to talk about all the new news would be painful. I posted a lot about it on Twitter. And also, my colleagues have been here on the ground too. So if you are still on X, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Blue Sky, I want you to go check out Holger Mueller. I want you to go check out Mike Nee, and I want you to go check out Chirag Mehta. Also check out Larry Dignan, Ray Wang. Everyone's been covering the news from their point of view, from their window into this world of AI. Holger's going to come at it from the developers and from the next gen applications and from the cloud perspective. Chirag comes at it from the security and from the product perspective. Larry just is trying to drink from the fire hose, and Ray is always going to be looking out into the future. And Mike is looking at the data. And for me, as that person who's just trying to figure out where business leaders, those of us who are just delivering experiences, driving margin and growth, we're focused on engagements. We're focused on orchestrating all of those engagements. We're focused on how to create, and it always comes back to this for me, how to create customer experience strategy that does what it's supposed to do, which is be an enterprise-wide team sport that intentionally creates durable, profitable relationships with our customers. And when you're trying to build that on quicksand, none of it feels awesome. But yesterday, listening to folks like Swami, listening to folks like Colleen, hearing from Pasquale out of the Amazon Connect group, the sand seems to be solidifying, at least for a lot of these customers. And I'll point to a very interesting panel we got treated to at the very end of yesterday that focused on the media and entertainment industry. This is an industry that has gone through every high and low of how you're supposed to feel about AI, right? Is it going to strip creativity away from all of our content? Is it going to speed up production in a time where media production to create a quality show, a quality movie, a quality commercial, like let's boil it down to 60 seconds. To create that can feel really expensive. It can take a really long time, and sometimes it does not slap. So managing that process can feel really hard. And when we apply AI to it, it can feel disheartening because it can feel like we're trying to take not just the human out of it, but we're trying to take the humanity out of it. And when you talk about creativity, you can't have a conversation about creativity and not also talk about humanity. You can't. You can try, but it's not going to land. And what was so interesting in this panel was hearing from Amazon, who in and of itself, remember, Amazon Studios, massive content creator, whether it's Prime, whether it's Audible, massive creator of content, whether it's original programming, whether it's shows, whether it's movies, whether it is curation of content into new platforms, into new substrates, and delivering on different surfaces. We also heard from a talent agency. We also heard from a media organization that works with news around the country, and an agency that is looking to manage content differently. And there was such an interesting theme that came from all of them, which is because they are working with AWS, because they're keeping people and humanity at the center of what they're doing, they're moving faster. They're more nuanced. They're not just looking at, let's create a lot of stuff fast. They're looking at different buckets of AI. I thought it was super interesting that we're sitting there talking about how do we look at performance? How do we look at efficiency? But also, how do we look at protection? How do we make sure that stars are protected? How do we make sure that everyday people like you and I are protected? There is amazing things that can be generated. I think of models out there right now that can do astounding things, whether it's Adobe Firefly, whether it is looking at Gemini, looking at Nano Banana, looking at AWS and Amazon Novasonic. With Novasonic, you can actually create conversations with your customers in human language. You can have people talk over the AI. You can have it in different languages. You can have it emote and have different emotions. You can have a conversation. And it's not a conversation with AI. Remember those where it was like, hello, Liz, you have reached. It's not that. You're not having an artificial conversation. Really, with Novasonic, you are having a conversation. It just happens to be one of the parties in the conversation is AI. But I'm having a conversation with a brand. I haven't been able to do that. I've had a conversation with a machine. But what we're seeing are customers using Novasonic to have a conversation with a brand. That's different. And what I think is really amazing in all of that is I get to end my year at a conference where I have gotten to affirm that while 2025 may be the year of AI or year of generative AI, it has also been the year of humanity coming back in and taking control of where all of this is going to go. Sometimes it feels like quicksand, but it doesn't feel like we're out of control. And I think that's important. And I think I felt that way certainly at Adobe Max. I felt that way certainly here. And shout out to all the creators, the builders, and the developers out there that have helped me reaffirm that. So with that, I'm also gonna share with you what the amazing AR team here at AWS has done. Not only have they run around and set up incredible meetings, gotten us into really terrific conversations, like really meaty, meaningful, analyst only panels and conversations that they've curated for us. So to the AR team, my thanks. Just really, really a great way to end the conference season and to end silly season here for me. But I'm going to leave you guys with this, because this might be the last rambling conversation from the road we get to have together for the year. And so I think that you get to end your time with me the way I got to end my time with the AR team. That happened. It was glorious. But again, thank you, AWS, for having me here. I'm gonna go and enjoy the show. I'm just gonna go and nerd out at the expo. Maybe we'll post some things later, but that ends it for me on a very busy 2025 travel year. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for putting up with these. Yeah, you might see me talk about stuff later, but it ain't gonna be on the road, people. See you later.